Okay, so we've got ourselves game number 5 between ShoWTimE and Namshar. Now this is a best of 5 series, so of course we do not need to hide the score for this one since it is already the last game. Now as I said, this if you're watching this on stream, of course, this is like a duplicate replay of the same map of the same series. It was showing as a 6 map. Now in the interest of just in case this was just a copy of it, or if something went wrong in the first game that they had to restart, this is basically I'm just casting the last map because that's the more likely to be the full map. So on the top left hand side here, we've got ourselves ShoWTimE on Arma team. His name is Tobias Sieber, 23 years old, from Germany. His opponent is going to be Namshar, who's had a fantastic performance so far. He is Christoffer, Kolmodin, not currently on any team, 25 years old, from Sweden. Now we are on Acid Plant LE. An interesting map, a really industrial look to it, and brings a lot of nostalgic memory back to the Starcraft 1 and Brood War series, especially in Terran matches. I think that if this was a Terran versus Terran, this would be an absolute perfect scene for that kind of matchup. Especially if you had the old style supply depots. Now quite a standard beginning here with the hatchery first and the extractor and spawning pool. Seems this is Namshar's favorite way of starting the game, which I don't blame him. He's done quite well with it. What I do like is the fact that he's not doing any cheesy rushes. I think that playing cheese as Zerg is not... it's very risky, firstly, obviously, as with any rush. But I don't think it's the best form of entertaining game, because quite often that results either in you absolutely stomping your opponent, or to the point where you can't do anything because your economy is so far behind, your opponent has held off. It's very rare to actually see a rush that ends up progressing onto a long game, and I don't think I've seen one for probably about a year or two of myself casting. Obviously I didn't cast for 2 years, but you get what I mean. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Now Stargate is coming out here again for ShoWTimE. Pretty much every Zerg versus Protoss is like that, where you have got a Stargate coming out pretty quickly. Now he ended up going for the Oracle first out of it in the previous game. We'll see what happens in this one, of course. Now, if I may ask, please, if you are watching right now, either on stream or on, what is it called? On VOD later on YouTube. Please, if you're on stream, follow. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Like the video, it helps out immensely. You have no idea how much that kind of stuff helps. Despite the fact it's only 1 or 2 extra likes or so. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of viewers right now, but it does add up, and every bit counts when you're a streamer this small. Especially on my usual uploaded videos. If they're getting extra likes, it tells YouTube that people like the content and that people are willing to come back for it. And at that point, it drives extra traffic in my way. So please, if you wouldn't mind, that would be absolutely fantastic. So let's see what we've got here. We've got ourselves a few extra Zerglings coming out. He's still building economy, as you can see, with the drones being built. So not quite finished with this hatchery. Gonna build up that economy, probably build up to about half saturated on this base before he starts any major unit production. Now he is bringing up the spore crawler already, so this one is done. This one is about to complete. So this Oracle not going to be able to do a whole lot with its little tickle beam. Now one is lost, but that's pretty much it. I think that's going to be all he's going to be able to do now that he sees that there is air defenses. Now what he might need to do with this instead is just scout out as much as he can, see what he can pull out of having one single Oracle on the field. They are of course very quick, so they can do great scouting when they're called upon. Now nothing else being built out of the Stargate at the moment. He's got himself the robotics facility on the way. He's got himself the Templar Archives, or not the Templar Archives, the Twilight Console, and he is using it for Zealot legs. So here we go. We've got the saturation on the third base now. Let's see what kind of units he starts to build out of it, or is he even going to saturate it fully? It does look like he is. So it looks like he's actually going to go for the full saturation on the base. And then after that probably start to build up his units. Now, he's actually gone for a fort base quite quickly in previous games, so maybe he's not even going to be that aggressive yet. But it really depends on how much he sees of his opponent. So let's have a quick look at that. Now, he hasn't seen a whole lot, so what he's doing right now is actually quite risky. He's really relying on ShoWTimE not rushing him with a large amount of units, which I suppose is a lot more difficult these days because Protoss don't go for third base that quickly, or at least they don't build their armies that quickly. And if they do, then that can play very, very badly for you if you're not ready for it. Protoss units, of course, a lot heavier than most other units, so they take a long time to destroy if you're not careful. Now let's see what he's going to do here. It looks like he's getting himself the Hydra speed. He's got Hydras on the way as well. Now 2 Archons are in position here. He's done this in previous games as well. It seems that he loved doing this right now as well. And let's see what he's going to manage to do with this. Oh, there's a bit of a pause there. And they're going back into the game. Let's see what they do now. The strong on engage here, going down, lifting off 1 queen, taking out the other one. So this is 2 queens destroyed pretty much straight away. And the question is going to be whether he's going to be in a position to actually continue with this push. The Hydras are on creep. They do have movement speed coming out any moment now, which means they're going to be insanely fast. At this point, it's going to be very difficult for him to actually deal with Hydras on creep. They've got the extra range, they've got the extra movement speed, and they're going to be nice and safe behind all of these drones as well. And these Archons are actually going to be in a lot of trouble lifting them off and getting them out to safety. That was a big deal, losing pretty much everything except for those Archons. So it's good for him to actually keep those alive. It's very important that he doesn't lose more than he needs. Now, a trap being put down by this Oracle, making good use of it, despite the fact that he didn't get a whole lot done in terms of economic damage. Now, the Zerg army is streaming in here. There's Zerglings and Hydralisks. Not a huge army by all means, but it will be enough to do quite a lot of economic damage if it's not destroyed on time. Army supply is favoring Namshar. Oh, and these Zerglings getting caught out of position now. This could be a prime time to actually attack. Does he have the units to deal with this, though? I don't think that he does. I think that Namshar might actually be in a good position to continue on here. He's destroyed 1 of the gateways. What else has he got here? Now, Zerglings and Hydras are amassing around this area. He's got himself the Overseer. He's actually, this is the deployed position, I think, the way they do it now, that you can actually deploy it and it doesn't move when you select your whole army. Quite a clever addition from Blizzard that they added. I really, really do like it. Let's see what he does here. Not opting to go for too much right now. And looks like he's going for that fort expansion, or fort base as well. Now, there is something dropping off here. What is this? This is 4 zealots. So we're going to see 4 zealots dropped somewhere, probably into the main base, and then straight into warping in a few extra ones. Typically, you end up getting another 4 to 6 zealots, and then once they're inside the main base, they actually do a significant amount of damage, because of course once they're in your face, zealots do a crazy amount of damage. Very, very good. So let's see, he's actually splitting his army up. He's gotten himself Hydralisk loaded up into these overlords. Now there's a total of 16 of them here, and the Zerglings are on this side now. Ooh, interestingly enough, Banelings as well. Is he going to try to just bust straight in here? Now, on the other hand, there is Zealots being warped in here as well. Now, the question is going to be whether he's going to do enough economic damage to force the Zerg army back, or whether he is going to have to go and defend his own base. Now, he did destroy a few drones, not a whole lot, considering he had about 8 Zealots here done not a whole lot of damage. Now, so much economic damage being done by these Hydralisks. Hydralisks, of course, do so much damage. 18 probes, and he's still got 8 of the Hydralisks alive. Now, will he be able to escape with these Overlords? It does look like he manages to escape here. So this is quite good amount of damage to do with those, with that little amount of units. Sorry, little amount of units lost is how I should phrase that. Now this is quite dangerous now for those Overlords, because this Phoenix could destroy the Overlords. Manages to take out the Phoenix with, I think there was still one Hydras on it, but looks like he might have to run away here with this. Now is he going to unload these? I think he's going to unload them here before the Overlord drops. Now the main army engage here is going on as well here. As you can see, the army supply is favoring Namshar, so he's doing quite well here. And here we go. So this is the main engage that we've got here. Let's see how this one plays out. Obviously the storms are going to play a huge part versus Hydralisks. So let's see if he manages to land enough storms onto this army. Despite the fact that Namshar has probably got a better reinforcement potential at the moment, it could very well play against him simply because of the heavy, not heavy, but large Hydralisk army that he's got. So all he's building right now is Hydralisk and Zerglings. I think that it would do him very well right now to develop into a heavier tech such as Broodlords. But I don't know, does he have enough economy to actually sustain that, especially the fact that he doesn't have all of his gases saturated at this point. But it does look like he's getting 2 more here. So let's have a quick look. Does he actually have a... what is the... structures? There we go. So he does not have a spire as of yet. Now these Zerglings, of course, are being revealed. Oh, that's a big catch on that trap. Actually, he might be able to catch out all of these Hydras. If he brings those Archons straight into them, these Hydralisks are absolutely destroyed. There is no escape from this, unless of course he leaves. That is a one. He has to engage this. There's one Archon in position. And there we go, just taking out a few extra units without losing anything. That's the most important thing. So he basically took those Hydras out easily. I think that it would have even made more sense for the Hydras to just turn and fight, because he would be able to destroy more units than he would by simply running. Now another load up here. Looks like this is again Hydralisks getting spotted by that Phoenix with a few extra seconds of warning. Let's see what he does to defend up against them. Now these are gateways. Seems to be ignoring them for now, not going anywhere ahead. Now, oh, sniping this off is a huge deal. This is level 1 weapons, and he manages to deny the level 1 weapons seconds before they're done. That is an absolutely huge deal. Now these Overlords, unfortunately, getting taken out there. So Namshar losing the Hydralisk, but I still think that was a worthy trade-off for him. I mean, he destroyed level 1 weapons seconds before it was done. Absolutely massive deal. Now kind of holding off for now, not doing a whole lot with their armies. Armies are as well split right down the middle. They're not actually keeping their armies all together, which is a good thing for them right now, because they've got so much presence across the map that if you have your army all in one, then as soon as your opponent starts to do something funny, like a drop with 16 Hydralisks in your base, then you simply don't have anything nearby. And you don't really want to get caught out like that. Now this is a very risky expansion. I honestly don't believe that ShoWTimE will be able to hold this unless a big engagement is going to go down here. If in any way Namshar is going to flank it and start to attack from other sides, this could very easily be taken out. So we'll see if that of course happens. He's building a few cannons around it as well, just to buy it extra time in case something is coming towards it. Now the one advantage of this base, of holding this base, is that if you need to recall to it, you're right in the center of the map, and at that point you can get anywhere on the map very, very quickly. Now all these small pickoffs for ShoWTimE are actually going to work out quite well for him. He's managing to destroy units here, units there, just to kind of prevent any sort of large build-up for Namshar. Now, to be fair, Namshar is almost maxed out, and it wouldn't take him too much to max out his army at this point. And 8 Corruptors on the way. Let's see what he's going to do with those. Especially considering ShoWTimE doesn't really have any air units. So those Corruptors are going to be there simply for destroying buildings, such as maybe catching out a Nexus somewhere. Sorry, what am I saying? I actually called this earlier. Namshar is probably getting those Corruptors to get Broodlords out of them, which would make perfect sense for the army composition that ShoWTimE has at the moment. There we go. So we got 6 Broodlords already on the way, so this is quite a big deal. That's a lot of Broodlords to bring out in your first batch. Now, ShoWTimE is actually responding with his own heavy units. He's going for a Mothership and Carrier, so absolutely massive. Now, Cracklings are up at this point. Level 2 ground weapons is also up at this point, so level 2 ground weapons is going to benefit the Overlords, not Overseers, the Broodlords that are going to be having the Broodlings on the air, or on the ground. And this is one base denied. Second base is almost denied here as well. So Namshar's time is actually kind of ticking here to do something with his Broodlords. Because if he doesn't do any sort of significant damage with them, then at that point his economy is going to start to fall behind ShoWTimE's. And as a Zerg player, you never want to have your economy behind your opponent. It just does not quite work out for you. Let's see, lots of Hydras here. There's actually enough for them to just simply straight up attack these units, not even have to worry about them too much. The Changelings in position here, just scouting out, seeing exactly what's going on. All of those Zealots completely getting cleaned up. Not a whole lot that they can do versus an army of Hydras like that. Now Tempest actually being taken out here as well. So Tempest, Carriers and Mothership. That is absolutely huge. Look at the amount of Broodlings that are out here. This is absolutely huge. Like, trying to deal with this amount of Broodlings is a very difficult task. So at this point, we got ourselves a lot of Archons. We got ourselves the Mothership Core, Immortals, Tempest, and Carriers. So he's pretty much bringing out all the tech right now. The only thing that I think he is lacking at the moment is upgrades. As you can see here, so many Hydralisks with level 2 weapons, level 2 armor. Whereas he only has level 1 weapons and armor at the moment. He doesn't even have any shield upgrades either. And this is where Namshar needs to be doing exactly what he's doing. As I said, this base was not going to last for very long. It's just too difficult to hold up a base in such an open area, especially when your opponent has such a large army. And he's going straight into those Broodlords. This is not the greatest positioning for them. They probably want to be back here a little bit, or even behind here. But it looks like he's holding off. The army supply is quite close. There's only about 15 army supply in between them. And will he be able to hold off? ShoWTimE is on his back legs, but I think he's actually got a bigger army here, despite the fact that he is holding back as if he's got very little behind there. And he is pushing forward. 114 to 68 army supply. I think that he is doing just fine and will be able to hold off against this quite easily. Now the question is, will he continue his push? Does he think that he has enough here? I certainly think that he does, at least for now, while the reinforcements is not on the way. Level 3 ranged weapons for Zerg and level 2 Carapace is actually on the way. Let's see what he does with that. Now this hatchery is getting denied once again. Or sorry, this is the first time this one got denied, but the one down the bottom already got denied previously. It's actually already almost mined out. Let's see what he does with this army. He is probably capable of going all the way in here. I think he might even have this game in the bag at this point. 24 workers destroyed in this base. Not a whole lot they can do. And again, I think that the same problem has occurred here that he had in game number 3, I think, where ShoWTimE just had too heavy of an army in the air, and Namshar was stuck on this Hydralisk tech, and he couldn't move out of it. He didn't have enough resources to build up, and there we go. GG has been called, and that is pretty much that. GG. ShoWTimE is moving on to the round of 8. with Namshar being knocked out here. So that is pretty much that. It looks like this was indeed the correct game to play, not the other one. So very well played here. I think this was quite a smart move. ShoWTimE, every time he seems to move on to that tech with the heavy air units, there's just no response from his opponent. So very well played.